What it is, y'all? It is your old boy Pilk, and today we are back with another Dragon Ball Daima episode. Today we are episode 2, and oh my, I won't lie, Shenron had me absolutely dead from the word go. Uh, First things first, if you haven't watched the episode, we are going to spoil a lot for you, so make sure you watch the episode. Come back, enjoy the review. We're gonna have some fun with this, but man, Shenron. Straight up, just getting the spoilers right away. Shenron was like, yeah, dude, first time buyer, only one wish. I was like, really? Really? Shenron has a loyalty program, guys. That is, number one, that's new lore. We haven't heard that before. If you ask me, it's kind of a retcon. But, you know, it's small price to pay for, you know, what we're getting, which was absolutely hilarious. So while I do have my arguments with that situation, I'm altogether not terribly mad. Now, everybody is reverted back to childhood. Like, everybody. And anyone that was a child is now a baby. And we saw, well, I say everyone. It's interesting. It's all, like, the extended cast. So they even show, like, the servants and the workers and you know, all that. Basically, everyone, like, you know, that's kind of around Bulma, more or less, is not transformed. It's Bulma, Vegeta, Goku, and anyone, like, even Mr. Satan is, Hercule, is changed over. And so it's like anybody that would be, like, considered part of the cast. So even Mr. Popo, which is really interesting, because I'm trying to remember if they ever showed his horns before. I think he's always had the turban. I don't think he's ever shown his horns. Someone correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, if I'm just remembering that incorrectly. There might be like a moment in Dragon Ball I just flat out don't remember. But I'm sure they're trying to like change his lore a little bit so that he's part of the demon realm. But I mean, which would make sense. They've already kind of, you know, covered that. Obviously, the Namekians are from the demon realm, and they actually cover that in a little bit more detail because they talk about that new Namekian and how people actually know him. He was the one that stayed behind to perfect the demon realm's Dragon Balls, which, by the way, the opening has confirmed there's not 7 demon realm Dragon Balls. There's just 2. Or I'm sorry, 3. That is it. There's the 3 Guardians. They each have a Dragon Ball. That is what it is. So that is just another piece of interesting lore because it's always been 7. Even the Super Dragon Balls were 7. The Namekian Dragon Balls were 7. The Earth Dragon Balls were 7. Unless, now, here's the thing. Just because we see 3 now doesn't mean we can't see 4 later. Who knows that they collect the 3 and then suddenly it's like, yeah, that's like level 1, dude. You need to collect the rest. It could very well be. They've always been 7. Unless, wasn't there a mention of, I think lore-wise there was a mention of a situation where there was like 1 or something like that. But still, like, it's interesting. So it'll be interesting to see if, you know, there's like a surprise element to that you know, kind of hasn't been revealed yet. Because while I say it is confirmed, it was something that came from the opening, not necessarily the lore of the show itself. So a lot of interesting stuff from the opening. Now I do want to talk about the childlike heroes and whatnot. First we got, you know, Dende was basically, he's basically a baby. Like, straight up. I mean, because he was very young. He was a kid before. Now he's just a baby. So that's a thing. And then they straight up kidnap him and then just run off. Popo is a kid again. And like I said, you get to see like everybody pretty much as a child. Now, when it comes to Bulma, it's really interesting because we've never seen Bulma as a kid before. It's always been, she's always pretty much been like a teenager, more or less. So I find that really interesting that basically her and Chi-Chi are like the same age, and they're totally not. In fact, Chi-Chi doesn't even like go back to her childhood form. She just is just small with a big old head. Bulma pretty much looks the same too, which you'd think they'd retain it. Now Goku, Vegeta, they all kind of look like what we've seen in the past. That all tracks. I love Mr. Satan as a kid because he just looks like a regular dude. Like, he looks like just some kid you'd meet in the 4th grade. He doesn't really look all that different. But even the Kaioshin and Kibito, they all got, transferred into a childlike state. So it's really interesting. Like, there's a lot of people that are affected by this. Piccolo's affected by it. I said when we did the initial like breakdown of the trailer that it looked like Krillin was wearing Roshi stuff, and because we've seen that before. But no, straight up Roshi looks like Krillin. Actually, it's really funny. I was mentioning this on Twitter earlier. When Roshi lifts his glasses, he actually, like, his eyes are drawn a little differently than Krillin's. He almost looks like Saitama from One Punch Man when he lifts his glasses, which I thought was really interesting. I guess I should cover the animation and all that, but we'll save that for the end. So essentially, the whole point here is they've kind of absconded with Dende, and everyone has to go get him. So they're trying to figure out, how this is going to happen. Because they're like, Kaioshin is just like, yeah, we can't just pop in and out of there. You can't just use, like, Goku can't use instant transmission or whatever and just, like, pop in and out of those realms. We can't just transport ourselves to the demon realm. You have to basically go through a gateway. And so they mentioned that there's a ship, but when it's brought down, it's ragged. And what was with Kibito and Bulma the whole time? Is he just... I know he's always, like, weird and awkward, but it's like he had a weird crush on Bulma, which is strange. Like, truly strange. Also, I adore the fact, but they mentioned it's damaged in the... I know, it's not that, but it felt that way from time to time. But he's just weird and awkward to begin with. So Bulma's trying to fix the ship, and everyone's just kind of preparing for this trip. And Goku actually goes back to Korn. We haven't seen Korn in a long time. I haven't seen him since what? Oh, good grief. Cell Saga, I want to say. Early Cell Saga, too. Like the Android Saga, maybe. It was like pre-Cell games, that's for certain. And Goku's looking for the power pole. And Korn's like, yeah, it's on top of the thing. And no, I gave it to Master Roshi. So obviously, Goku then has to travel to Roshi. And I love the fact that they mention the Nimbus Cloud. Goku, like, jumps off, and they're like, he's like, do you want to use that? And he's like, no, straight up, just basically, like, falls, more or less. But what's really interesting in it, it's a bit of lore that I don't think they really covered that much in GT. But when Goku's transferred into his smaller body, he has, like, problems basically adjusting to it. And I think this is what's going to become one of the biggest hurdles in the series, or at least in the early part of the series. I mean, we already know Goku's going to, regain Super Saiyan and all that stuff. But in the early portion of the series, it seems like Goku's kind of having a problem adjusting to the smaller body. He mentions he broke Popo's 3rd rule. And I know people in the comments are going to say, no, it's Rule 6. No, Rule 6 is Popo's stuff. Rule 3 is the tower itself, or the time chamber, I think. But still, it's like the doorway to the time chamber. Whatever. Goku broke Rule 3 and managed to survive, and I am impressed. But nevertheless, you owe me a thumbs up if you laughed at that one. But nevertheless, Goku goes and gets it from Roshi, and we actually meet a Kid Roshi. And man, Roshi he's enjoying his child form a little too much. He is a little too excited about this opportunity because he straight up just flirts with everybody. And I never really thought Roshi would, like, have any level of Riz. But actually, I'm gonna be real. Like, why is it that when he's younger, it doesn't come across as creepy and as awkward? It's awkward a little bit, but it's not the same. It's not just a creepy, pervy old man. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being creepy, pervy old man. But I love that the power pole was being used literally as a clothesline. That was just hilarious. On brand for Dragon Ball. Completely on brand for Dragon Ball. Anyway, so just kooky, weird stuff happens all the time. Goku gets the power pole, brings it back, kind of shows off his skills, which is really cool to see because we haven't seen him use that in ages. Like, literally, what? I don't think he's used it since OG Dragon Ball. Maybe once or twice in, like, extreme early Z. But I don't think he actually used it. I think he just had it on him. So, maybe in GT, but I'm going to be real. I don't remember enough about GT. I watched it once, was kind of done with it. But so Bulma's still trying to fix the ship, and that's when Glorio first shows up. Now, I kind of thought he would show up earlier in the episode, but literally the end of the episode is Glorio shows up, and he's like, I got 2 extra seats. And so Goku and Kaioshin are going off, and I love Vegeta's got logic, like straight up. I cannot argue with his logic. 'Cause he's like, look, you have room for 2 people, but we're all kids now. Arguably, you could make room for 1 more. And Gloria's like, nah. And even Bulma's like, just wait. I'll fix the ship, and she will. I'm sure she's gonna fix and modify the ship so literally everybody can go. It's been done before, and it'll happen again. But nevertheless, that's pretty much where the episode more or less ends. And now we know how they're gonna go down into the demon realm and all that good stuff. Just a fun episode, not super serious. Now, I will say, for those that are watching my other channel where we're covering Danmachi Season 5, and recently did Wistoria, I will say I am already in love with the art here and the animation. I have been very, very critical of the other series for animating on the 2s and being very, I guess, abusive with that privilege. But I love the fact here that they do enough, like the ships are all CGI now, and some of the backgrounds and stuff are CGI, and there's enough that you get nice, smooth animation, and I love that. I appreciate that Toei is going out of their way to take some of the old, mix it with the new, and it works. It works extremely well, and I love it. Even when you see like Goku blink, it's not just like 1 frame open, 1 frame closed, 1 frame open, which is one thing I've criticized the other series for. And for me, don't get me wrong, I love the franchise, but I'm going to be critical of the animation. So while the animation is a bit simplistic at times, it doesn't go out of its way to be like, we're not talking JJK here. It is a next level up from Super, in my personal opinion. I think it looks beautiful, almost cinematic, dare I say. And I really hope they keep this up. I am absolutely loving what they're doing with the animation. Now, before I give my animation score, I'm going to say some people aren't going to like the number here, but I'm going to give it a solid 8. Why 8? Why not like a 9 or a 10? Well, number one, it's not a 10. We've seen 2024, we've seen animation on that's a 10. But for me, a 5 is par, and this is so far above par. It's not perfect, but it is absolutely fantastic. I'll even compromise and say like an 8.5, because I feel like an 8 is too low, but I feel like a 9 is too high because there are a lot of still frames and not as much motion as I would like to see. But when they're doing things right, they're doing things absolutely right. When they don't, it's honestly not. It's not world breaking for me. I still enjoy the series. I still love it, and even when I look at it objectively, I still very much enjoying this. So I'm looking forward to episode 3. If you guys are too, let me know in the comments down below. Story score. So we always do animation, music, and story. Music is on point. The opening, the closing, 9 all the way. I can't quite give it a 10, but it definitely is a solid 9. Absolutely through and through. And it's not the type of music, clearly, that I would normally listen to just there at home, but I still love it. It's fantastic. They got a great, in fact, it very much matches the feel of the series, so I love that so much. But more than all of that, I feel like the Foley design and all of that is absolutely on point. and very reminiscent of old school Dragon Ball and, in fact, Dragon Ball Z. It's just very comfortable. It's a place you want to be, and it's what we've known for decades now. It's very, very nice to see that they can keep up with the new stuff, but bring you home to rest with the things that keep you grounded in Dragon Ball. So, like I said, a solid 9. I just can't give it a 10, but a solid 9 for sound design and music. Story-wise, I'm going to give it another 8. Once again, that might seem a little harsh, but my honest answer here is if the story is a 10, but they are kind of recycling GT, I'm going to take 2 points away from that. But I'll take 3 points away from that, but I'll bring it back because even though they're adding more lore, which arguably is retcons, they are doing a really solid job of it. So there's my review. Like, comment, share, and I'll be back with more coming up next week. And you want more Dokkan? We got that coming up too. And maybe Sparking Zero soon. I gotta work that out into the budget.